all my friends are there like, they couldn't believe this, I've never wrestled since. The referee had to take my foot out from behind my head. I've tried to get it back there. I can't get it back there. He's wrestling all night long. That's a long time. Jacob was a mama's boy, but he was a Hulk. Remember, he's the one that moved the stone off the well. This guy was a Hulk. And he's wrestling with this man. Oh, by the way, a lot of people think that Jacob wrestled with an angel. There's nowhere in the Bible that says he wrestled with an angel. Now, in the book of Malachi, it does mention a messenger there, which can be a translated angel, but it's not. And we've got to take face value what it says here. We're not in Malachi, we're here. It's talking about what kind of person? He wrestled with this is a man. This is not an angel. So let's just take the scriptures for face value. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. Okay, let's go through a pronoun lesson here. You ready? They wrestled a man with who? Until the breaking of day, and when saw that prevailed not against, touched the hollow of, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as wrestled with. How many are there? How many hims and he's? And who are these hims and he's? Let's identify who they are. And again, I have never had more than 50% of the people agree on this. Let's do the first him. And there wrestled a man with, who's him? Okay, we agree, good. Until the breaking of day, and when? How many think Esau? Raise your hand. Or Esau. How many think the man? Raise your hand. 50% of you. How many think Jacob? Another 50%. Which is it? Okay, let's do the next one. When he saw that who's the other he? Prevailed not against him. Who's him? Can't have it both ways. Now, why would God purposefully try to confuse us? Because that's what God likes to do. God will put us in situations in which we must trust Him by faith. And there are no easy answers. There are no easy solutions to some of the conflicts that we face in life. And God, by His incredible design, in the way He has written His Word, folks, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. This book is supernatural. It really is. And the farther you get into it, the more it explodes in beauty and majesty. Look at this. We don't know who He is. And God purposely, by design, has made it that way so that you would have to endure and persevere in order to find the truth. Because it takes a lot. It took me 2 years to figure this out. Jacob was left alone. There wrestled a man with him, Jacob, until the breaking of day. And when he, the man, saw that he, the man, prevailed not against Jacob, he, the man, touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he, the man, wrestled with Jacob. Now, the reason I know this is because it really makes sense, because the man is the one doing the touching, okay? And so Jacob's hip is out of socket. Has anyone had a dislocated hip in here? Wow, am I the only person that has these things? I had a dislocated hip when I was 26 years old. We were at the Thousand Islands. We were on vacation. My son was 2 months old, and someone gave us this vacation spot, and we walked inside this cabin, and the cobwebs are hanging down from the ceiling like 8 feet. I mean, this is horrible. And my wife, and the shag carpet rug was filled with dirt and like critters, like those gross things were, what are they called? No, cockroaches were going through there. And my wife looked and she goes, I'm not staying here. And she just walked right out. And the door had one of those swing things, you know, the tension. And it just swung closed. And I kind of like pushed me in there and my hip just popped out just like that. The next thing I knew, I fell face forward, dust flying. And when you have a dislocated hip, you're paralyzed. You can't move from left or right because it's like someone's taking a knife in you. And I'm thinking like, oh, but Debbie, can get me out of here. But 20 minutes later, and I'm going, I'm thinking literally, I'm going to suffocate in this dirty shag carpet rug. You know, Pastor, I wanted to be burned at the stake for Christ. Pastor dies in dirty shag carpet rug, you know. She opens the door and she goes, what on earth are you doing down there? I can't breathe, turn me over. She pops me over and pops right back in the socket. And I've never had a problem with it since. And the only reason I think it did happen was for me to give you this illustration right now. When you have a dislocated hip, you are in no position to wrestle with anybody. And the man says, let me go. If you got a dislocated hip, what do you say? Okay. I don't ever want to see you again. Let's talk about this for a second. What type of finger does this man possess? He touched his thigh and dislocated it. What type of finger does he have? A supernatural finger. A very powerful finger. And so if this man possesses this kind of power, why did he allow the wrestling to take place all night long? When he could have touched his head and dislocated his brain if he wanted to. Why allow the wrestling to occur all night long? The same reason that God allows us to go through things for years. He wants us to endure and to receive the blessing of the hope that He can give us by changing our character as we endure suffering. It's all about being changed in the likeness of His Son. Not only to believe, but also to suffer. And if we're going to give our kids anything, we must give them that. So if you're in a situation where you've got a dislocated hip, and this very strong supernatural force can kill you with a touch, and he says, let me go, it's obvious what you should say. I will not let you go. Don't you love it? What was Jacob doing when he was born? Holding on. What's he doing now? For the first time in his life, he's holding on to that which is eternal. He's been holding on to all the wrong things in life. Held on to the wrong woman. He thought he needed more kids. He held on to a flock of sheep. He held on to the finances. He held on to everything in life that he thought was going to give him total unconditional acceptance and value in this world, and he lost it all. Because he was not holding on to the one thing that he needed to, and that was God Himself. No matter what trial God has brought into your life, you must, when you face it, say to God, bring it on, I'm not letting you go, because I want your blessing. And Jacob says to him, I will not let you go, except you bless me. No matter if you've got to take my life, no matter what you have to do, I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting this marriage go. I'm not letting this child go. I'm not letting you go, God. Whatever you've got to do to change my life, to reach my family, you do it, because I'm not letting you go. You see, if we're willing to embrace the pain for God's greatest blessing, we'll receive it.